Yo, what's going on, y'all? So today I'm gonna be talking about my experience with working from home, with having a work from home job. So I worked as a care manager, which is essentially like a social worker for the mentally disabled population. Um, and I had a caseload of about like 50 what we call individuals. Um, I basically would assist them with, them and their parents or guardian, whatever they needed, whether it be like attaining housing, attaining even food, like food stamps, anything regarding social services. I'll have to be verified, be aware if like they went to the hospital, what for. You're basically just checking up on them. You know, I would say daily to monthly, depending on their need, and just kind of giving them the help whatever they needed, right? So I've done that job for like 5 to 6 years. Um, and I liked it at first. At first it didn't start off that way. It started like it was like a in office, um, you know, going out in the field, meeting your individuals on your caseload. Meet them in person, stuff like that. Uh, so then COVID hit. You know, we all know what COVID is. I'm not gonna really explain that. Affected everyone. And it affected my job to where it basically turned it from an in-office job to an out stay-at-home job and work remotely. And at first I was like, oh my gosh, this is amazing. You know what I mean? And I got away with murder, you kind of got like, well, not you, I got lazy, in the sense of like I started waking up later, clocking in and going back to sleep, or just starting my day late, whenever I kind of felt like it. And like it kind of like made me unorganized for a bit. Excuse me, like it made me unorganized for a little bit. um but what really started to change my mindset on the job was when I was just home all the time. And I know a lot of people, they want that type of job. And for me it was like a learning experience, because from experience, a work at home job, that's how I learned that I did not like working at home. I rather going out into the field. I rather trying to just be outside rather than home all day, because I realized that for me, when I'm home all day, I don't want to do anything. Like I didn't want to put 100% into my job. I would rather like sleep, like sleep in, and like or like do a minimum amount of job of work, and then like if I got tired, I'm taking my nap. It's 1 o'clock. I'm tired. I'm gonna go take a nap. Like, and it's just because, and it's kind of like taking advantage of the luxuries that you had. Well, I had. My bed is right upstairs. My TV. I could watch TV while I work the entire time. And it kind of took me away from focusing on my work. And of course, that has nothing to do with the job. This is 100% me and my fault, and me not being mature enough to just focus solely on work for the 8 hours while I'm home, because it was like me being a kid in a candy store. It was like, but my video game's right there. Like I can hop on my Xbox right now, or like TV's on. Like I could watch Netflix, or like whatever it is. Like I could take breaks whenever I want. So I kind of took advantage of that, in the fact, but I actually started to really hate my job, and hate it to the point where like I didn't want to be there anymore, and I didn't want to do that type of work anymore. And this is also still during COVID, and this is regardless of the point that I just mentioned with like kind of slacking off. Excuse me. So being that my job turned into a work at home job, I like the amount of work that we were given was like being increased tenfold. And I'm talking about like in the beginning of COVID was when a lot of slacking off happened. Towards like the middle of the year, like let's say June, July, going into, the fall and whatnot, like my job just started hammering us with work. And my job was already stressful enough. And I think, and I feel like that's why I kind of would take those mental breaks away, because it was becoming over encumbersome. Like, because we had to do so much work, and I'm not going to get into every little nitty gritty thing of what we had to do. But it involved a lot of work. Like, and you have to think, I had a caseload of like 50 people. So if I have 50 people and at least 30 of them, or 35, 40, all needs specific things done. They all need specific forms done. They all, and you still got to go see all of them within a certain time frame. You have to document everything that happens with them. And then on top of that, honestly, what made the job really hard was dealing with parents. And this is not to bash anyone or any parent of a child who has a disability at all, because I cared for them and I gave them my very best. I went out of my way a lot, like a lot, and like there was a point in time where I got in trouble because I stood up for my client like so much, to the point where like my boss had to call me into the office because I got so like inebriated with like emotions, because I felt like somebody was being taken advantage of. And again, I care for the disabled, so watching someone take advantage of someone who I am responsible for, in a sense, that really struck a chord with me, that like I was not okay with. So I let my emotions take over. I said things I shouldn't have probably said. But it was, it was nothing too serious. But after that, the client, my individual and her parent loved me, because they're like, wow, no one ever stood up for us like that. But that's besides the point. What I'm trying to get at is the parents made the job, not all of them, some of them made the job a lot harder than what it should have been. And that's because the parents know that like the parents can fire you. They have the power to fire you and say, I don't want you as my care manager anymore. I want someone else. And getting fired, regardless of the issue, never looks good. It just doesn't look good as a care manager. It looks as if like you're not doing your job. And I have been fired by parents, I think twice at that point. One time, honestly, was not my fault at all. And like they kind of just got like a bad taste in their mouth regarding the whole like system, and they kind of just threw me into the bucket with everybody and said, I want to fire everyone. And then the other parent fired me. I honestly don't even remember, but I think I made a mistake on my part, because I was just overwhelmed with work, that I kind of let that individual fall in the crack, and kind of forgot about their needs. And this is not to make an excuse, I had 50 people, so it's people fall through the cracks, it's gonna happen. But my point is just to say that like the parents made it hard, because if they know that they can just immediately say like you're fired, they now have this ego, or like what's the word, entitlement, to basically say like this better get done or else. And it's not like I could really like say much, and for me it was like damn, like I've been working with your child, I've been giving your child whatever they needed, whatever you asked for like 3-4 years now. Like why do you still have this attitude with me, like get it done or you're done? And some parents would change over time, and then some didn't. And it's like if you make one mistake, you're out. So I can, it was just a lot. And so you would have to do all of your 100 million tasks that you were assigned. And then you have parents blowing up your phone, blowing up your email, contacting your supervisors, contacting your supervisor, saying like, oh, did so and so get this done? Because I emailed them 2 days ago. They haven't got back to me. That's another thing about a work at home job, well, at least mine, is that when I dreaded taking off work because I knew that it would just add more work. Because my job wasn't the type of job where you take off, actually enjoy yourself, and then come back to like a clean slate. Like, no. If you took off 3 days, you have 3 days of email and voicemails and work that you gotta add on to. Like, that's 3 days of work that you have to do within the rest of the week now. Like, it wasn't mentally okay at all. It was draining, and like my wife just watched me like just draining out of me. And it got to the point where like I think my supervisor had messaged me after work and like asked me like if I was okay, and like I was honest, and I was like, honestly, like it's becoming too much. It's too much. Like I said, literally, it was like literally every week, like management is asking like, oh hey, by the way guys, you guys have to now start filling out this. By the way, we want to start implementing this. On top of all the mountain of work I already had to do, on top of all whatever the parents are now asking, like, and then still going out to see everybody, it was way too much weight to where I started to get depressed. And I'm not trying to throw out that term loosely at any, for any reason. It was just mentally draining. I'll go with mentally draining. I won't say full-on depression. It was mentally draining to the point where I knew I didn't want to work there anymore. So I actively looked to get a better job, a different job, and I did. But this is just all to say that working from home is not for everyone. I learned that from my experience. That's one good thing COVID has shown me, is that working from home was not for me. At least not a full-time job. Definitely not. I like to be outside. I like to get out the house. So, find out what you like to do. If I know everyone's craving a work from home job, but it's not all it's cracked up to be, unless you just love being at home all the time. Then, that's cool, but it just wasn't for me. But thank you guys for listening to my rant. I hope you guys like, comment, subscribe if you want. I got more videos to come, more stories, and have a great weekend, y'all. Y'all are amazing. Thank you.